Hi, my name's Jessica. I'm from Lincolnshire Sensory Services. I'm here to have a discussion with Julie from Healthwatch, and she's going to explain a little bit about Healthwatch. We've got an interpreter here as well to interpret into BSL and to English. So welcome, Julie. Thank you for giving us your time to explain about Healthwatch. Can you just explain a little bit about your role, please?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everybody. My role is as information signposter, which means I provide independent information and guidance to people in and around Lincolnshire for health and social care, anything to do with health and social care. For example, GP surgeries, hospitals, care homes, home care. If people are stuck and don't know where to go, they can come to me and I will guide them in the right direction. So who to speak to, what to do, but all the information is kept confidential, so I don't release any personal details.
Wonderful. So Healthwatch, what actually do they do, and how do they get feedback from people and people's views and feed that to different medical settings and services? What does that process look like?
So prior to 2012, the health and social care setting, there was nobody to give patient feedback to anybody. So Healthwatch was set up in all the English counties, and the authorities in each county has to have a Healthwatch. So there's about 150 plus Healthwatches in and around England. Sorry, I've forgotten the other question. What was the other question? Go with me.
So how do people, so their feedback, how do they get it to you? And then how do you deal with the feedback that you receive? Okay,
sorry. Yeah, feedback comes in all different forms, by letter, by email, by phone. I even get text sometimes. Generally, prior to lockdown, we have a group of volunteers who would go out into the community, who would speak to different patients in different settings and get their feedback. Once that's done, we would put this on a database, a unique bespoke database, which populates all the information that we put in there. On a monthly basis, it's fed back to the providers, again, with no personal information on there. Just saying what people think about their services. And then on a month, then if there's any questions to raise, we will raise them for them, or they can raise them themselves. And then once they get 20 working days to respond to any comments that we've made or questions we've raised. And we'll go back to the patients with those responses. And then it's populated into a main report, which goes to the Care Quality Commission, which people might know as CQC. It goes to the clinical commissioning groups who pay for the services. It goes to NHS England, who also pay for services. It goes to quite a number of people. Healthwatch England. It goes to around some MPs, goes to some MPs as well, so that they know what's happening in their areas.
Right, that's really good. So if somebody's gone through a particularly bad experience or probably a positive experience, they can feed that to you, you feed that to these services. So that's an example of what happens. That's right, yeah.
Positive, not so good feedback, we take all feedback. It's really good for the providers to know what's going on in their areas and what's going on in their services. If people don't say, they don't know.
Absolutely right. Yeah, it is really important to get the service users' feedback, whether that's negative or positive. Yeah, so obviously GPs, hospitals, social care, social workers, all those sorts of things, care homes, it's really useful for them to see and shape those services.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's what we're here for. So that, because some people prefer not to do it themselves, prefer not to say something themselves. So we'll do that for them. We don't take on individual cases, but we feed back all the information that's given to us.
Oh, good. So how are they able to contact you? You said about email earlier, and you said about text service, and they can ring. What about sign language users, where English is perhaps obviously their second or third language for some people, and sign language is their main language? How can they contact you? Maybe if somebody is deaf, so would they be able to provide a BSL interpreter in those circumstances for their feedback?
I'm sure, Jess, we could come to some arrangement for that. That would be helpful.
Okay, brilliant. I think we've covered everything, all the information, unless there's anything else you want to say, Julie.
There's just with the timescales, I would say, if somebody has a concern, they need to raise it within the 12-month period. So if it goes too far back, it's not really conducive. So 12-month period is the cut-off date really for raising any concerns within that time frame.
Okay, so if something happened 6 months ago, you could use that scenario, or that whatever happened there. Definitely,
definitely. 6 months, a month, but you know, going too far back, a lot of things have probably changed, happened in the course of that time. So that's usually what they say is a 12-month period.
Okay, so the feedback that you collate, that how is that, how you said that 20 days for these services to respond, 20 working days, and then so they have to respond within that time frame, is that right?
That's right, yes. Over the lockdown and with the NHS being quite struggling, you know, to keep up with things, we've sort of let them have a little bit longer to respond, just so that we're not having an impact on what they're already doing.
Yeah, so a bit flexible approach at the moment. Obviously, you know, it's understandable because of how hard they're working, the pressures they're under at the moment. Oh, thank you ever so much. I'm just wondering if you could email me the details of the Healthwatch organisation, contact details, and I will include it at the end of this video.
Of course, I can send that to you via email, no problem at all, Jessica.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, Julie.
Thank you. Thanks, Stephanie.
It's okay.